Well, good day, all. Welcome to Alchemy Within from out amongst the stars. I appreciate you all being here today. And we're just going to talk about the big fiery emotions in the sky as we all have just been through a week of a lot of energy, a lot of different major transits, ones that will change the trajectory of our lives. And we are just moving past the Leo full moon. That was, I have here on the chart, as you can see, for the 25th of January at 10:53 Mountain Standard Time. We had the sun opposing the moon down here in Leo, which makes it a Leo full moon. And that full moon has been also brought in with some big energy from Jupiter. And as you can see, Jupiter is at about 6 degrees. So this was 5 degrees and 15 minutes to be exact. And so when we have a full moon, that is opposing forces and usually brings a culminating point, a conclusion, or some sort of completion. And especially if it has there's been something that was initiated in the new moon, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit. But I just wanted to mention, I do support people going through a lot of emotional transitions. I have emotional empowerment certification. I use the elements and archetypes of astrology in my work, and then I also bring in the bioenergetics, or the energy of the body field, through the Nest Health, and that using a scanning tool, which we can talk about at the end. So I'll just put my details below, but if you wish to, contact me and are looking for some support, because I don't really know anybody that is currently in um, a, s- a place where we haven't had some sort of transition, some sort of life changing going on. Everyone is feeling all of the big energy on the planet. And so I can offer support and guidance, coaching, reading, and even as we are in January 2024, there's a few days left. I had offered the free scanning from the Nest Bioenergetics, which we will get into at the end of the video. If you want to wait and go through the astrology first, and then we'll look at what that will look like. It's shows you 100 different points of your energy field. So yeah, please like, comment, and subscribe. We are all trying to get through a whole bunch of new consciousness, a lot of solar flares, a lot of changing energy. And yeah, I'm here for support, and also just to give you guidance, even if you just check in with the channel every so often. And if you subscribe, you'll get notified. So I appreciate you all being here. And so if you we go back to January 20th, we had Pluto, as you see here, it's at 0 degrees of Aquarius, ingress from Capricorn. But that was a re-entry because we actually had a dip of that. So you can check your calendar also for that energy from March 23rd to June 11th. Pluto had dipped into Aquarius, and then it went back and it was cleaning up some of these old things. And then literally right before the Pluto ingress into Aquarius again on January 20th, the sun had been in Capricorn, and it actually hit and illuminated Pluto at that 29 degrees and 59 minutes. It's the very last possible minute of Capricorn. And the Capricorn has been really showing us where we need to change our structures in life, really bringing an upheaval of a lot of the hierarchical and patriarchal institutes and systems that we have in place and organizations. So anything to do from the way that we work and how we work and who we work for and corporate big business, how we do money, banking, um, and even our food. And I'm seeing that because I also do that work where I work with local food, uh, basically local food growers, and helping getting that to the people, so we're not you know counting on shipping across the world, and we have more nutrient dense food. Um, we're just seeing a lot of change and shakeup, and we're going to see more because, as you can see here, Uranus very soon will be leaving the retrograde. So I had marked that for February 19th, but it actually stations direct right after this full moon on January 27th. And it's bringing a lot of energy as it stations. It really amplifies things. So there can be a lot of shocking, sudden changes in the whole trajectory that we're in here. So with the Jupiter fiery emotions of that Leo energy opposing this Aquarius, who is the one that, the air sign that is bringing stuff from the future, innovative technology, all of our independence in our own unique way, bringing forth how we want to show up in the world. And Leo, of course, is where we shine our light in leadership and performance and creativity and all those kinds of things. So we left that. I'm actually wondering how everyone is feeling with that. Pluto actually was really, really, I think, a lot more than people even realized. And as it came in, there was a lot of people talking about their body just feeling like they just needed to stretch. And I feel like that's the energy that has been condensing and coming in from a whole new era that's going to bring a lot of death and rebirth and transformation, and just trying to integrate that energy. I know I felt it. I'm an Aquarius rising. It's coming into my first house and my body. And that was also brought forth by a real lovely uh, girl that's on YouTube, Sunshiny Soul Tarot. She talked about the energies, and from from knowing, being connected to energy and being a Reiki master energy healer, she brought up how a lot of her clients and people were talking about the energy and just feeling like your body was like under this pressure cooker and wanting to stretch it and bring in a whole new integration into our cells is kind of how it felt. So if anybody's been feeling that way, or the emotions are just tied up, I mean, emotions are energy in motion, right? So if they're getting caught up within you and you need to, the support to get through that, or you want to see where that's at, we can talk more about that. As Pluto actually uh, ingressed here January 20th, it's there almost to stay. We have a dip back into Capricorn September 2nd to November 19th in 2024. It'll go to that anaretic degree to go clean up the rest of whatever our old life structures are wanting us to release and let go of. And I noticed, with the theme of this, Leo full moon that we're having on the 25th, or has already gone by, that the big theme is what does need to be let go of. How do you want to bring in all of your own creativity and passions, and how you want to show up in the world and let your light shine, and what is no longer serving you. And so I feel like there's going to be a lot of shifts and changes as we go on here through the rest of the 2024 year. People are just going, to be really making a lot of big decisions. And we have, a lot of things being burnt down to the ground, really, and then we'll have the phoenix rising from the ashes. That's basically it. So we can go more into this Aquarian energy, where we get to live better, and it's better for the collective, it's better for the larger group. We're bringing in new information from the universe. We can bring in a lot more peace and compassion and thoughtfulness and patience and kindness and harmony and tolerance and justice and the big truth of what um, and how we want to live. And so that is, um, you know, really been in the whole ethers and maybe on your mind for this whole entire week. We had Venus enter Capricorn. So Venus had been in Sag and moved to Capricorn on the 23rd of January, just after and right before this full moon in Leo, and right after the Pluto ingress. And Venus in Capricorn, it likes the finer things in life. Um, and it also helps bring a lot more focus into the into that area of your chart. And if you want to look at your chart in more in depth, or even just a house, or even just where certain planets are right now, some of these bigger energies, please reach out to me. Use the bit.ly link or my email. And I'm going to have a special starting in February when this other one is done, where we can look at each individual house. And that'll be, very, very affordable, because they're going to be just short readings, like, our 15-20 minute for $8 US. And that will be a just look at the house, right? And see how all the significations of it and what planets you have there. Just for those of you who are just starting and everything feels so overwhelming, we want to start with the basics and, the element that it's in, and the first house, if that's where you want to start, being you. And you can do those in various small sections for very, very, very affordable. So um, right, so you can keep yourself grounded, keep yourself, you know, moving through these energies with support, and knowing, kind of what archetypes are expressing for you right now. So um, after we have, this Venus move through this Capricorn, it will go into Aquarius, and by later in February, we're going to have a lot of planets in Aquarius, right? Because our Mercury and Venus and Mars will all be there, as well as our Pluto and our Sun. So I feel we are going to really notice that shift of into that real Aquarian ways. We're going to see probably a lot of fast changing energy in technology, AI, could be even, different things in the cosmos, different things about space, different things about even our other galactic centers and ETs, and um, new breakthroughs and all kinds of innovative things, which I find really exciting. So yeah, with moving on here to our full moon in Leo, this is a wolf moon. Um, from a spiritual perspective, from the spirituality health site, the meaning of the wolf moon was like the cries of the wolf, the hungry wolf, um, you know, looking to heal and digging up some protective mechanisms to feel safe in your community, and what it is that you had, are feeling like your needs are, and how you're connecting to all of your friends and loved ones in your immediate environment. And it's a howling at the moon to connect to those people, bringing in messages. This is allowing yourself to bring in some inner knowing, which is, a very Aquarius energy too, and connect to the earth at the same time. So that's, that means bringing the light in from above and letting it fill every cell in your being as it shifts through all of your energy centers and down into the ground, and like a cord is anchoring you into the ground, and then bring that energy back up and out, and around you, around your room you're in, your house you're in, your community you're in, and expand it out and out with breath. taking in big, big, deep breaths. We can also go back to the new moon, August 16th. It was at 23 degrees and see what was kind of coming up for around then. So that new moon in Leo, um, may have started something. And here we are in that full moon in Leo that is bringing that culmination point, that closure to whatever was coming up at that point. And back in this particular Leo new moon in 2023, August 16th, we actually had Venus retrograding at that time too, but it still brought up the same themes. It's sort of like deciding, what do you value? What do you truly value about yourself, your own self expression, and how are you going to bring that to the world? And, do you love it? Do you love the people you're surrounded by? Do you love the places, the situation? And whatever it is that you're in, and you love the work you're doing. um, what brings you joy, pleasure, and where can you be a creative leader in this lifetime, because that's what that Leo is. Where can you shine your light on the stage, be the one that's taking the leader? And they all do so with a lot of fiery passion, but typically are also, you know, playful and generous when they do so. So it's clearing out whatever no longer serves you for your highest and best good. And then as we look, across the way at the Aquarius, for the highest and best good of our collective, of our, of our world and humanity, and looking out for everyone in general. But allowing yourself to bring in that self expression of your unique individuality and sovereignty and autonomy. So we can go back even further if you want to look at these dates. I find this interesting because I keep track in a journal. I use the Astrology Almanac, and I actually write every day, what has been transpiring, and then also keeping track of the astrology. So if you're starting to learn about these transits, it's a great way to just track what was happening that day, or go back in your phone and look at your pictures, or go back in your email, see what you were sending. Good ways to track these different cycles. So going back to the the new moon, July 28th, 2022. So we're talking, you know, a year and a half ago. What was happening then? Because that particular new moon was at 5 degrees as well. So it was at the same degree point, 5 degrees and 39 minutes. And so we'll, be able to, see where there's some certain cycles that maybe you were in that now are coming to a close. And maybe where there was some new beginnings, even that started in this particular Leo new moon, that may now they may have been seeds planted for what's kind of coming up. So going forward with this Leo full moon that we are at here, January 25th, 2024, there actually is a lot of, abundant and, bigger, potentially optimistic, very expansive energy with this Jupiter square to it. However, also there is Chiron involved, because as you see, Chiron is getting close to the North Node. It's at 15 degrees. And those two will come together February 19th. But right now, there has been a Chiron square to Mars. And interestingly enough, that Chiron square to Mars was right before the full moon, like just prior to. And then 24, within the 24 hours later, Mercury, so we have the Mars square and then Mercury squaring Chiron. And Chiron, what's Chiron? Well, it's that bridge really between our Saturn or reality and that higher mind of Uranus, and the big changing um, energy of that. It's the wounded healer. It's the one that it's that area where we work on in our life. And you can check the degrees because often that's when the wound kind of really was initiated or was very prominent. If you check the degrees, that relates to the age you were at when that part of your lifetime wound really got enforced. And I know that works in my life for me at 10 years old. But there is this thing about the Chiron where it's sort of like that. It's that area where we need to work on that may not ever feel completely healed and whole um, and and integrated totally within us, but we are working on it because we are helping others overcome that exact thing in their life. So um, if you look at where it is that this particular wound is getting triggered, where is Mars wanting to come in and sever some things, and then Mercury to follow? Where is there potentially some harsh words that are being said? There could be some really big emotional energies. Be careful because words can be cutting and words can be damaging, and they can last a lifetime. And that's harsh words are things that people do store in their body emotionally, and affects their their whole adult life sometimes because their nervous system has held on to continual harsh words that they heard as a child. So we want to be careful of the words we choose to speak to each other with. And that's why astrology is so nice, because it allows us to understand each other so much better. I know it's made such a huge difference for me to understand first myself and how different I am, than my familiar environment and family or of origin, and also my daughter and I are completely different people. But then it's also helped her understand the parts of her that she got from her, lineage, from me and her father. So it just is so helpful in understanding who you are, where it is you're going, how things are affecting you in the moment, why things feel maybe hard, or why things are changing so rapidly, or why things that you're trying to hold on to so tight, just no matter what, have to go. And even if it makes no sense, Lord knows I've been through that. And as we speak um, about Uranus energy, that's sitting right on Saturn in my fourth house of home and family and origin, roots and foundation. And I won't get into details of that, but it's Uranus is shaking us all up with this station that's happening on the 27th of January coming up, and Jupiter's expanding on all of that, and Chiron is bringing up our wounds. So we have to really look at the whole big picture of this, and look at where our Leo part of ourselves, our heart-centered things that we want, the one that has certain goals and wants that attention. They Leo's a fire sign. It rules the heart. It's also ruled by the sun, and it is very connected to the heart chakra. So working on that particular part of you emotionally is where we really will find ourselves um, going within to work on ourselves first, to get to that inner peace and find some self compassion and some self love, and try to work through what it is that's in our way of what we really want and our own truth. Um, you know, the Leo, they love the sun. It's the ruling planet, like I said. It's finding that even if you need to sit in front of a fire, or if you need to find a place to sit in the sun, or light a candle or be in front of the fireplace and bring in some of that fire energy and start to really work from the inside out to find your heart center and where your heart can be opened and move that energy because Leo's it's fixed in nature, meaning that we have the fixed and we have the mutable and we have the cardinal, the mutable. They the mutable it changes. The fixed does not want to change. The Leo, ruled by the sun, wants to find that heart centered place in your solar plexus where you can feel that intuition coming through. Maybe it's a sudden jolt of energy. It's the warmth in the heart and expanding your heart and feel it viscerally in your body what feels right and what no longer feels right. If you've had in your own personal chart, if you're a Leo moon, like that's how you tell where your intuition is coming through. But in general, the Leo loves to lead and motivate others with strength and courage. But, it also could be dramatic. So right now there could feel like there's just a lot of drama going on and emotionally. But knowing that it's all for reason because we are all, like I said, in some sort of shift or transition. So, what are you devoted to? And, what are you, protecting? What are you loyal to? Leo has a lot to do with royalty and, the the queen and the king and there's this very I guess it's a strength that can come from doesn't matter how you identify, like female energy within you and to allow this a creative flowing kind of energy come through and that passion and heartfelt kind of romantic place where you really can feel all of your emotions brought up to joy. Like Leo loves joy and pleasure and theatrics. It loves being in that feeling of being the performer. It loves being adored and celebrated and affirmed, and it's passionate and it has a ton of charisma and it's can be very caring and like I said very generous. Even in leadership it can bring in a lot of generosity in the sense of like it loves the accolades but it's like, oh well, these were the people that I'm surrounded by that make me look good, so I'm going to bring them along with me because they're helping the light shine on me. So, like I said, they're a lot of fun. I've had a Leo uh, good friend, been a manager in my life too, and I really noticed that they love that royal authority, essentially. So, but so much fun. Like we, work was a ton of fun, and because of the playful. I mean, at times they can be very childlike, and you have to, if sometimes there's certain things that have kept them evolving as an individual. There could be some challenging aspects of that, or the low road, as we would say, of that Leo, where they get a little caught up in too much pride or ego or overinflation of the ego or have a sensitive ego. As opposed to just bringing everyone along for the party. They could be more self-centered and need a lot more validation, or have a certain stoicism about them because they don't want to show their vulnerability. And you have to be just be careful with those that come across too childish, and want to battle over looking for that attention and over what's theirs. Oh, it's mine, right? And being a little bit too selfish and worried about being like one that, or there's others that are going to outshine them, or they're working against them and can even have, that um, at a very low road, the narcissism. Um, but with the Leo looking for appreciation and recognition and a creative way to self express, um, they find themselves in these spotlight roles, in these leadership roles. And so look where the Leo part of your chart is and in what area you may, take that lead and let your individuality to come through and shine. And surrounding yourself with the things that bring you that kind of joy and that sort of feeling that helps you shift your energy levels and your levels of consciousness emotionally from those places of, the lower road of shames and guilts and, victimhood, or even if you've been through a, major transition or tragedy of grief, right? You want to help yourself elevate up into that Leo courage. Courage is on the other side. When we look at the scale of consciousness of power versus force by Dr. David Hawkins, we move through the levels of energy, and I do different processes to help you move through all of those different things that are coming up for you. And there's different exercises and just talking through how that can be. And then there's different times, sometimes people need a lot more work somatically moving and shifting emotions out of the body, so it can go on from there. And with the Ness coaching, we actually use infoceuticals, so the structured water, to help bring in that new energy, the new right, correct information and energy. Because when we get into these emotional states, our energy and emotions the emotions get stuck in us, and that energy gets distorted. And so, then we're trying to run on an operating system that isn't ideal, because we're in these old stories or old patterns and that sort of thing. So looking to see where you can, find that power and charisma, and knowing that we have this Jupiter involved here. So if we go on to look at the chart with the Leo full moon here and our Jupiter square, if you can see it better there, it's looking at where there might be things that are even too much or too big, or things have kind of gotten carried away. And integrating where it is that we can bring in our own courage to work through some of these really big emotions, right? And help us live the lives that we want to. And in with our when someone walks in the room and they carry good energy, you can feel it. It lights the room up, right? And we all want to be able to feel that way, where we don't bring other people you know down into the victimhood with us. We want to help ourselves elevate and help elevate others around us by expressing our archetype of the queen or the king, or where our royalties are. It's like that you know wonderful matriarchal grandmother that you go into her kitchen and into her home, and she embraces you with love and compassion and hug and great food and beautiful conversation. And it's like those kind of energies that we want to help ourselves and help others with. And it all comes in through that heart-centered place of compassion. And not only is Jupiter involved here, but Venus is also in the picture. And if you want to get into some more detailed information, because we do also have this full moon in the first decan of Leo, so that's in that first 10 degrees. You can go listen to other astrologers that go into more of that expanded astrology if you're in that advanced place already. Adam Allenboss does that a little. He gets into the Bounds, Astro Victor, and Anne Ortley gets into more advanced astrology. And so, yeah, there's all kinds of different ones out there. I just take little tidbits of um, of all the information that I learn, and I bring in my own spin on everything, and try to help you all understand sort of what we're in, and we're in some real, like I said, um, real changing energy here. And of course, with the Uranus stationing on the 27th in Taurus, that's also Venus ruled. So again, we have more Venus being brought in, and Jupiter to this full moon. And what does Venus bring? And in Taurus, or sorry, in Jupiter, and Venus rules the Taurus. But what does that you know Taurus energy bring with that, being a Venus ruled sign, is more stability and wealth and beauty and luxury and art, and more feminine energy, more receptive energy, more enjoyment, sensual, attracting, receiving, harmonious, creative, tender, um, kindness, strength. Like it helps us, find our surroundings that we find beautiful. And not everybody finds the same things beautiful. So you got to keep that in mind too, right? And finding that balance of our own self-expression. So this is going to be a time where you might be going through a lot, finding out, where you're not letting your light shine. Where are you adapting, and where do you have your old protective masks? Um, where have you buried parts of you in the basement? Where have you gotten attached to the old story, the outdated beliefs, the cycles, the patterns, all those things that have been held in your nervous system, emotionally protecting you because something and some things have happened to in life? And unfortunately, as humans, in the human condition, it evolves always for our evolution and growth, some form of pain and suffering. And I'm not trying to discount really horrible, ugly things that have happened to some people, but we all go through certain things that shake up our world beyond thinking you can't get through it. But when you do, like I said, then that's the phoenix rising from the ashes. That's the Plutonian type death and rebirth that brings the transformation. So allow yourself to go through that, knowing that there's something better on the other side. And right now, we are all feeling that because the entire systems of our world are really getting shook up and burnt down to the ground to be rebuilt in a new and better way. So it's like now deciding in this new life, this new world that we're evolving into, how do you want to contribute? How do you, rather than trying to keep hanging on to the old, pardon my language, but shit that and ways that people have been, um, you know, really having a lot of power and control over us, and in hierarchical ways, and putting, I guess, dimming our lights and keeping other people small. So where is it now that you can take your opportunity for the betterment of humanity and allow your own light to shine by, taking that Aquarius energy and collectively teaching people and bringing in some new information or new ideas for them in the future, some different intellectual concepts, or where can you bring in something that's innovative and creative and outside the box and forward thinking. And you know the Aquarius energy has a very, very high intelligence to it. It can be genius like. It depends on, of course, where it comes through in your own chart. But it wants to deliver a lot of information constantly. So no, Aquarius rising just can't stop the ideas, the ideas, the ideas. But it's forward thinking, and it kind of will go out and bring in all these future ideas and back to other people who might have more earth in their chart, and that's okay. Or are caught up in the emotions too much with too, a lot of the water, and feel the pain of others, and um, they have a lot of information that might be helpful for you. So that's essentially what I've understood as my gift is I just have a lot of ideas and information, and I'm, you know, out there, of course, as a Gemini sun, Mercury, getting little tidbits all over the place. And then you come to me and I go, oh, okay. And I can see a bigger picture for you because I have a Sag midheaven moon and I can see the bigger picture to help you then find your way through, um, you know, to a better path, and one, um, that will bring in some evolution. So as we, allow this Uranus to shake things up as it stations retrograde, it has a lot more punch, a lot more potency. On the 27th of January, 2024, we are going to see a lot of revolutionary shift, shake up, change, maybe some chaos. Things that need to fall away will maybe suddenly be gone and or brought in. It allows though for more freedom, and so it's just a matter of allowing yourself some time to like really um, get get grounded at certain points. If you're feeling like you're getting it's too much anxiety or it's all too much, into nature, allow yourself to get in the bath, allow yourself to sit in front of the fire or curled up in warm, blankets, journaling or whatever it is that allows you to get back into your body and feel grounded, and give yourself that time to really bring the experience down and in through you, because there could be some pretty radical the shifts, and there's also all these solar flares going on that are bringing in some wild energy too, and we all are getting an upgrade. It's like the collective, um, in all from all different avenues, whether it's from the sun, Pluto moving into Aquarius, these different bigger shifts that are amongst us. We are all getting some sort of a change in the way that we do life. And, we'll have to pay attention to signs and synchronicities and what happens under the light of this, full moon we've just been through, and decide like what character do you want to play? Like as we move into that, your own new stage of life, and having the spotlight on you. And, whether that is just staying at home looking after your grandchildren and being the best grandma, or being out there, speaking at venues, or, taking on some sort of a new, job in a more innovative technology, or, whether it is you're just ready to retire and go kick back at the lake and go fishing. It doesn't matter. It's just a matter of deciding how you want um, your life to go forward without resisting like the really rapid changes that are occurring. And so you can, because if you're trying to push back, or you're like, trying to stop the bus for this new trajectory, uh, you're going to probably end up getting a course correct by the universe. So it's better to allow yourself to have that time. Your soul wants this growth. Our whole entire collective in humanity wants to grow and change and shift. And we're going to see a lot of rebellious energies out there, because that's the Aquarian too, rebelling against all of the conformity. So pay close attention, put on your observer, listen and watch what's going on. Give yourself the time, but also allow yourself to go through the processing of all the emotions that come along with this, and let go of all these old conditions, ideologies, beliefs, patterns, people, circumstances, work situations, careers, anything that's outdated, because how our parents grew up is not the way that our world is going to go forward. So you have to listen to your own guidance as far as like getting the right pathway for you. And um, also, getting yourself back connected to the earth and to nature. And, rather than pushing everything away or digging in, to stop any kind of progress that is happening, it is for the, like I said, the best and highest good of all, for you to now find your own alignment, get more heart centered, find the peace, love, and joy that you can in your life the best you can at this moment. Everyone's circumstances are peaches and cream right now, but we are all being asked to shift. It's the universe's plan. So, um, that's where we're at. And as we work through all these wounded parts of us, and Pluto takes us on a real big deep dive into where we are feeling emotionally, vulnerable, whether there's, some volatile reactions coming up or parts of our psyche that we never knew were wanting to come to light that are, we can find ways to empower ourselves. And like I said, there's different processes and exercises that can help you go through that. And then, also we can take it to another whole level of finding, like this example of how energy works in our body. It's like working with the the solar energy, whether or not you are into that or not, that doesn't matter. This is just an analogy of where energy comes from our our planets, our sun. Everything is energy. We all know that. I think everybody does know that concept now, that everything is energy, and we all vibrate at certain frequencies within in our cells. Every little tiny cell and every subatomic particle has a vibration to it. And the the faster it is, the higher you operate in the world. The slower it is, that's when we're getting down into those lower emotions. So we want to help ourselves charge our own battery, and the body needs that recharge. It needs to expand on that energy, right? And it stores anything that brings a real significant charge emotionally in the body as well. And so it can store it for many, many, many years and forever until we, sometimes process it. It all depends on your own window of tolerance and how your nervous system operates. Disease is basically just that. It's emotions that are in dis-ease, that are not being processed through the body. And so our healing that we need has all to do with bringing in that right, correct information and energy in our daily functional and our daily functional needs. And actually, interestingly enough, Uranus, which I said stations direct, will bring a lot more forward action on anything that may have been initiated. I mean, these outer planets, they station retrograde and direct 5 or 6 months of the year, right? So, if there's some sort of lightning bolt, electric, shocking surprise that comes in, that's very Uranus. That is all Uranus energy, right? It brings in all that and is always connected to electricity. And it can be very, um, you know, chaotic at times because it can bring in such a lightning bolt, um, shift even in ideas. But it reroutes you to where you need to go to live the body or live the life of embodiment that you want in alignment with who it is you're meant to be. So you want to allow that. So when I was speaking of the nest health, and this is just like one screen out of many, many, many that show all these different levels of what's happening in the body, in the mind, at an energetic level through the field. This is just one little example. And so these are another screen. This is a whole other part of it where we find out bioenergetically what emotions are connected to what parts of the body, right? Our liver or kidneys, our lungs or spleen, our heart. And these are some of the energies that get carried in there, anger, in the liver. So sometimes we see a distortion in the liver if you carry a lot of anger. And resentment is there too. So we can see that in the screen, and we have also, what's really cool is, part of the hero's journey, we can see where you're at, the purples being the place that needs the most attention, and then the orange is next. And we can see the different archetypes, which we speak about as well with the astrology and the emotions, and where our core beliefs are, and where we are emotionally. And then the software is so cool because it actually gives you a whole recommendation. There's typically five infoceuticals, so they come in a dropper like this, and they're energy infused structured water. So if you ever listen to Pam Gregory, she's done interviews with people about structured water. So that's the Nest Health Scan, which I was bringing in for everyone as part of an astrology session. And that was for the month of January. So if you wanted to book something, you just have to book it. You don't have to have it, but you could just have to book it, and prepay before the end of January. And those sessions are 88 US. So and with that, you'll get anywhere from the 40 minutes to just over an hour. We can talk about all those kinds of things, and then you'll have access into the system to videos and books and that kind of thing, as well as we can look at your astrology. So that is where we'll leave it for today. We have a lot more things coming through. I want to have I have a lot more plans to bring in some videos with the houses, which I'm going to do. And like I said, if you want just a house reading, just starting with one house, and what planets are there, and what aspects are there, and what it means for you, and where it lands in your chart, and you have your correct birth time, date, place, of course. We need that in order to do that. That's a very affordable way to start, and that will be coming up for the February deal, where I'm going to offer just a look at one house. It'll be $8 US. It'll be a short session, but very impactful if you just need just some bite-sized bits to start with the elements and the house of whichever house you wanted to look at. If you want to look at where your Aquarius house is in your chart and where the Pluto is going to be transiting, and I'm going to be doing a bunch of videos on each house and the significations of that, and what kind of Pluto might be bringing for you in there. I don't like to do too much predictive astrology because everybody's got their own story, and their own chart reflects that. So yeah, so there'll be a bit.ly link below, but you can also email me at diana.canbyfreed@gmail here, so we can connect and we can do some of these fun things. So remember, a few days left of being able to get the scan with a reading, and that'll be a 90-minute or sorry, that'll be a 40-minute to usually I go on, as you can tell, plus readings. So you'll be able to look at all kinds of things, and you'll be able to go explore once you do the scan too on your own, as well as do bring in some of the astrology. So I will do the astrology part. You can do a voice scan. You don't need to be here physically, and then you can go and explore your own on your own, and watch some of the movies, read the book. It's work done by Nest Health. Harry Massey is the one who brought the software all into place, and has a book I can send you as well. Even if you just are curious about it, just email me and I can send you a copy of the PDF book. So yeah, that's it for now. Thank you all for being here. Please connect with me, like, subscribe, and we will chat with you again soon. Have a great day, everyone.